What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on the ARCHI-TECH network. Today I wanted to talk drones with you guys and why I think this little guy, the Mavic Mini, is one of the best drones out there to get started with as an architect. However, first, to show you what this thing can do, let's go somewhere a little more scenic. What's up guys, and welcome to Monument Valley here in Utah, USA / Arizona. So I'm currently standing in Utah, but those mountains in the background is actually Arizona. And I'm driving around here, decompressing from city life and exploring the incredible landscapes around here. And today, unfortunately, the park here is closed. So I thought I'd talk to you guys about why I think the Mavic Mini is a great drone for architects and also an incredible companion as you're traveling around the world. All right guys, let's take a look at the Mavic Mini, what you get inside the case and what it kind of looks like. For those of you who are unfamiliar with DJI and what the Mavic is, DJI is a company that produces drones. They're based in Shenzhen. Super interesting company. I definitely looked them up. They're going to be the future of this industry. The Mavic is a series of drones that they produce that is known because they're compactable. So I think there's the Mavic 2 now, the Mavic Mini, and possibly a Mavic Air. And what's really unique about them is they kind of fold up into quite a small, profile. I've got the Mavic package. So the Mavic Mini comes in two packages. One is just you can buy the drone itself. Two is you can get the package. It's $100 extra. I would definitely advise to go for that one because you get the case, you get an extra battery pack and a bunch of stuff. The battery packs alone is worth around $100, so it's definitely worth it. And you're gonna want the extra batteries when you're traveling around and using the drone. So let's just jump into it and show you the drone itself because I think that is what you want to see. So this is the Mavic Mini. As you can see, it's pretty small. And this is what's unique to the Mavic is it's completely folded up. It's not like a drone that has its wings or arms constantly out. If you can see here, I have an iPhone 10. You can see when folded up, it's about the same size as an iPhone 10. If we hold it up, you can see it's pretty small, right? And this is one of the things, it's also super light. It's 249 grams. The reason for that being is that once a drone gets to 250 grams, it triggers a few more kind of rules and regulations, particularly here in the US. But here's the really cool thing is when you're ready to fly, you simply just unfold the drone's arms out. I don't know what the technical term for that is. Let's go with arms. And then your drone is ready to rock and roll. So let's have a look at what else comes in the case. All right guys, let's take a look at what comes in the box. As you can see, the Mavic is folded back, the drone is folded back into place. This is kind of what it looks like. As you can see, it's a super nice case. You can just throw that in your bag wherever it is you're going, or if you're traveling, really easy to kind of take with you. Let's say you're ready to go and you want to get the drone out ready to fly. All you do is unfold the drone like we did before. Front two wings first, then back two wings after that. And then the Mavic does come with a protective case whilst you're traveling with it. So to remove that, you just unclip it here. It's a little bit delicate, but and at that point the drone is ready to fly. So the other parts that come in with the case is the controller itself, which we'll get into in a second, and then the battery pack. So the battery pack comes with 3 batteries in it. The third one is actually in the drone. The other great thing about traveling with this is a huge battery pack for charging your phone or any kind of stuff that you're traveling with. So it's pretty useful for that. Otherwise, you get a bunch of cables and then also some spare propellers and things like that. The only other thing you need to fly the drone is some kind of smartphone. I'm using an iPhone 10, but it's compatible with most iPhones, most Androids. You can check on the website to see if your phone is compatible with the Mini. Otherwise, let's look at the controller. So the drone's ready. The next thing I need to do is get the controller ready. And this is a really cool piece of design actually. So like the Mavic, it's all kind of folded into place and you basically start unfolding it. So you have these two kind of winglets here. I don't know what the technical term is for these guys. Inside you have the two joysticks or thumbsticks for the joysticks, which just pop out and you screw them into place. And then the antennas just fold out like that. So the only other piece that's missing is the phone, and the phone basically clips in. You get the appropriate adapter for your particular type of phone, and then it kind of, you have to jimmy it into place, clamp these down, and you now have the controller ready to go. So this is your screen that you'll see through the camera, through the DJI Air app. And you're basically ready to go. So you can see within a couple minutes you can unpack the drone, unpack the controller, and you're ready to fly. The only thing I need to do now is turn on the headset, which is 1 click and 2 clicks to hold down. The controller is up and running, and then the drone just has a button on the underside of it, which again you click once and hold down, and that's it. We're set up, ready to go. We can take her out for a spin. Now we have the drone set up, ready to go. We're going to go take it for a little test flight somewhere around here. Before you go out and buy yourself a drone and unpack it and, you know, just take it for a spin, please do not do that. You need to spend some time to learn how to actually fly this thing. And you can do that through the DJI website. You can download their simulator training. What's really cool about this is it's a wicked environment where you can go and fly any one of the DJI drones. You can test them all out. You can also go and find the specific one that you're going to buy or that you have bought. You can use your controller to actually control it, so you can set up your preferred joystick layout and all that kind of stuff. And you can get to grips and go through the training program. You can also fly through a whole bunch of cool environments. So like there's a futuristic cities, there's these amazing landscapes, and it's all based on the Unreal game engine, which is super interesting to kind of play around with. So go and do that before you ever take this out into the real world. The second thing you need to do is to make sure that what the rules and regulations are about flying a drone in your country, in your city, in your state, wherever it is you are, to make sure that it's okay to fly it. And lastly, avoid flying these things anywhere near an airport at all costs. All right, so if there's the app will let you know what the kind of rules and regulations are in your area, or it will let you know if you're near an airport. You want to avoid airports at all costs. So those are the 3 things. Make sure you spend some time training, check your rules and regulations, where you're going to fly it, and avoid airports at all costs. So otherwise, let's go ahead and get started, and let's take this for a little test spin. What's up guys? So I found a super quiet little spot with this unbelievable backdrop. It looks like I'm on Mars or something like that. The van is parked up. We have this epic backdrop for 360 degrees. It's nice and quiet, there's no one around, so let's go ahead and have a little test flight with the Mavic. Okay guys, so I checked the area, I set the drone up, I've got the controller set up. As you can see, the drone, which you can just see down there, is I'm setting it on the case itself because it's quite dusty here, so I don't want it to get like all stuck into the drone, which I've already found out the hard way. And as you can see, it's just a little drone pad there. So yeah, I've checked the area, I've checked that we can fly. So without any further ado, let's take it for a spin. Okay, so now we've got the drone set up. All we have to do is go to the DJI Fly app, open it up. This is how you connect your phone and the controller to the drone, access the camera, and all the features that come with it. Most importantly, you can hit the map at the top left hand corner and it will show you places that you can't fly. You'll also get a warning if you're inside an area that you shouldn't be flying in. It takes a second, but once you've connected, you can go and hit go fly. You'll see on the bottom right hand corner of my screen there, you are now connected to the drone and ready to fly. You'll see the camera and various controls around the screen. So first thing I want to check is the warnings and settings at the top. Here it gives you critical messages or warnings before, during, or after flying. You can see here, whilst I'm certainly not on top of a mountain or anything, where I'm flying is quite high up in terms of altitude. So it means the air is thinner, so stopping takes longer, flight time is less, etc, etc. Otherwise, you can see I can set certain parameters like maximum flight height, maximum distance, etc, etc. So to go back to the screen, not to go over all of these icons around the screen, but just a quick overview. Top right, we have a few critical things like how much battery is left, which is obviously super important. The Mavic has about a 30-minute flight time, give or take, depending on where you're flying. We also have the signal strength, which is kind of interesting. You'll see the controller actually connects to various satellites on the top right hand corner. Once you have enough connected, you're good to go. So that's another critical thing you need to wait for before you actually fly. To the right hand side, you have the controls for taking videos or still images. These are controlled by the triggers on the controller whilst you're flying, so you don't have to like touch the screen, but these should be pretty familiar, like taking a photo on your iPhone. Bottom right, you'll have to do with the memory and the current settings for your video, how much video time you have left, how many images you can take. You can see here I'm filming at 1080p at 30 frames a second. Bottom left, you've then got your flying speed, altitude, which is super important to keep an eye on. There's also a little map there which you can expand to see where you are if you ever kind of lose sight of the drone. This little icon is to automatically take off. It will show you, which I'll show you that in a second. Top left, then you've got your 3 flight modes. Okay, so there's 3 modes. Sport, which is really fun, super fast, not so great for making videos because it's obviously very quick and jittery. Then you have Cine mode, which is the drone mode is a little bit slower, the movements are slower, so much more cinematic for video making. And P mode, which stands for positioning mode, which is your standard flying mode. All the sensors are on and they're helping you out with flying. So this is the best setting to typically fly with, especially if you're just starting. So that's the basic overview of the controls and heads-up display. Now let's go back and hit that takeoff button and get going. If you hit this takeoff button and then you got to hold down on the screen for a few seconds, the drone will take off and just hover by itself about a meter off the ground, and now we are flying. So now the drone's up, it will just sit there by itself. The drone is controlled through 4 kind of different vectors, which you can kind of see at the bottom there. And just to illustrate how they work, so the first one is just simply up and down. You can move the drone up and down, or ascend or descend the drone. You can move it forwards and backwards. The drone just tilts slightly forwards or backwards to move it. Same kind of thing for left and right. And then once I bring the drone back into the center of the screen, the last one is to simply rotate the drone around the axis. And that's essentially the kind of 4 different ways that you can control the drone through the joysticks. If I just simply hit forwards, there you go, I'm off, I'm flying the drone off into the distance. As you can see, I'm literally just holding forwards here, and a lot of the software in the drone is doing that. If I take the finger off the drone, it just hovers there. I don't need to do anything. I can rotate it and come back. Now what's important here is I'm going to fly back to the van. I'm keeping an eye on this visually. I can still see the drone from where I'm sitting, but I can also see, this view is what I can see on my phone. So it's a bit of a combination of you always have to keep a visual connection to the drone, but of course you can also use the camera and fly by that. As you get closer, now I'm kind of shimmying the drone into position, using a lot of the controls at the same time. And here I don't really want to land the drone on the floor because it's super dusty. So what's cool is underneath the drone you have a sensor that detects the floor. If you just put your hand under the drone and simply hit down, the drone will detect it, go into landing mode, and if you're super careful with your fingers, you can land the drone and catch it. Once you got a handle of all these kind of controls, you can start to develop these kind of cinematic flying styles. So you can simply fly the drone away. This one's a great one where you kind of ascending but also flying away at the same time. You get this kind of epic view backwards.
flyover. This is a great one where you're just simply kind of flying over an object or over something. And then of course you got the ascending aerial. This is a great one for architecture. You know, you can really kind of view your site from above, or you know, a city or something. Of course you can add, you know, if you're doing it in video, you can add a pan or a 360-degree rotation. And then to give you a little bit of a view of how the catching it works, you can see I'm just holding my hand out, the drone kind of sits there. Of course it looks kind of epic, and it's as simple as that. So whether you're using this just to travel around, or you want to take it on site and use it kind of in a professional capacity, it's so easy to kind of take it out, take it for a spin, and as you can see, you can get some amazing shots whether you're on site or just simply on holiday.
Okay, so I'm back in New York City, and in all honesty, this was my first attempt at making any YouTube video. I decided to give it a go whilst on holiday, and I didn't quite get all the footage I wanted. But one thing I learned over the years is that even though things don't quite pan out as expected, you can pivot and make the best out of it. So unfortunately, being OCD about perfectionism can stop you from ever getting things out there. So in the spirit of sharing knowledge, I'm back here in the studio to finish the video and talk to you about why the Mavic Mini is great specifically for architects. So one, I think this has been demonstrated already, but how easy it is to pack this thing up and take it with you. You can have this thing packed up and thrown in your bag within a few minutes and ready to take with you on holiday or go off site, which I think is a super nice feature. Two, it really gives you an amazing perspective on your site. So this can be used at a number of different stages for exploration of your site or taking photos. Of course, this can then be used in visuals or animations, etc., which is really nice to have. Three, drones can also be used to make 3D mappings of your site or your building. Now, it's not going to be 100% accurate in terms of using it, but potentially you could use it as a context model or for visualization purposes, and you can check out a bunch of really interesting videos online for this kind of thing. Four, the Mavic is a great entry-level drone. It's fairly simple to get a handle of as a new drone pilot, if you can use those terms. It even comes at a great price point. I think here in the US, it's around $400, which is at the lower end of the current drone market. Lastly, I think it's a super interesting technology which is only going to grow and integrate into the cities of our future. And by owning one and playing around with its capabilities, it's really made me think about how this might affect the built environment. Like, what will a drone airport of the future might look like? Will we see drone landing pads incorporated onto our rooftops or even outside of your window? Will this be a new transport typology added to our major cities with the introduction of Uber getting into this space? So these are all the reasons why I got myself a Mavic Mini and why I think it's a great entry-level drone for architects interested in this kind of thing. Whether it be for just fun or to aid visualization, I think it's a super interesting technology which we will see develop significantly in the future. Before rushing out and buying a drone, be sure to, one, spend some significant time on the simulator to get to the grips with the controls and, most importantly, what to do when things go wrong. Two, check your local rules and regulations both for where you are based and where you actually intend to fly your drone. Three, build up slowly, take it out to a nice field, get to grips with the controls before going out into any populated areas, and always be sure to avoid flying above highly populated places. And lastly, I am no drone expert, so go seek professional advice or even take a course in it before hitting the skies with your new drone. Otherwise, I hope this video gave you some insight into why, as an architect, you might look into getting a drone, or specifically the Mavic Mini. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.